It's a lovely good evening today, the 30th of July 2023. To present the news, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news tonight: a social scientist calls for police reforms. Finance Minister MUSOKOTWANE dispels claims that there were errors in the supplementary budget. Government relentless to end street vending. In international news, ECOWAS issues ultimatum to Niger amid popular show of defiance. And in sports news, Copper Queens aim to end group games on a high note.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Hello again. Our news in detail now. The Albino Foundation of Zambia Executive Director John Chitty has condemned the continued ritual killings and attacks on people living with albinism. On Saturday, police in Katete arrested a man of Katete district for allegedly murdering an albino and was selling his body for 1 million kwacha. Mr. Chitty has, however, commended the police for their professionalism in investigating the matter and has further called on investigative wings to deeply investigate the matter and bring all those involved to justice. More in this report.
Reports of attacks and killing of persons with albinism for rituals have continued to emerge in some parts of the country. The most recent one coming from Eastern Province in Katete, where police arrested a man in Katete district for allegedly murdering an albino and was selling his body for 1 million kwacha. Reacting to this development, Albino Foundation of Zambia Executive Director John Chitty has condemned the continued ritual killings and attacks on persons with albinism.
It is sad to see that these cases continue happening. As much as we are doing all we can to sensitize people on albinism, to raise awareness on the issue, but it is sad that we continue losing lives. We want also to appreciate, first of all, the community for being alert, because people in the community suspected something and reported to the police, which is very good, and we are seeing that indeed there is progress, because people, as Africans, the way we keep ourselves is a child is a community child. We are brothers keepers. So when you see something suspicious at your neighbor, in your neighborhood, please report to the police. So we recommend the community in Katete, because when they saw something suspicious, they reported to the police. And also, we also appreciate the police for taking action for them to retrieve the body, because one of the officers had to pretend like he wants to buy the body. So they had to do some investigation, that is some professional kind of investigation, to make sure that they retrieved the body. So this is very good coordination between the community and the police. However, the only sad part is that if this was done earlier, would have saved a life here.
Mr. Chitty has also challenged the investigative wings to thoroughly investigate the matter and bring all perpetrators to book.
Our message to the police and the judiciary as they handle this case is that we want justice to be served. We want the investigations to go further. If there is anyone else involved in these attacks, in this attack, this particular case, this person, this suspect who murdered someone, where was he? Did he had intended customers? Did someone promise him that if you deliver this, you'll be given this amount? So if there is anyone else apart from him who is involved in this case, we want them also to be brought to book.
According to reports, about at least 10 albinos are murdered in ritual killings every year in Zambia by people with wrong misconception that acquiring albino body parts has potential to give them wealth or luck. This therefore calls for government to guarantee safety and the right of movement for persons with albinism. Vincent Piri for Camnet News in Lusaka.
Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary Mambo Hamaundu has maintained that there is no turning back on government's move to get rid of vendors in the Central Business District of Lusaka. Speaking with Camnet News, Mr. Hamaundu says authorities will not condone acts of illegality. He has warned those who are running away from authorities and conducting businesses at graveyards that the law will catch up with them.
We will stay on this course, and we want it to succeed because the public also want it to succeed. So there will be no turning back on this particular position. A decision has been taken. Street vending is outlawed, and we need to respect the law. So just go back into the markets, go back into other trading places, and even the issue of not having sufficient trading places will not be an excuse because it is still illegal. So when there isn't sufficient trading places, we need to be informed as government so that we create these trading places. So for now, it's a decision which has been taken. Markets, bus stations, and all these other public places must be used in a manner that they are supposed to be utilized. Street vending is outlawed. Shops displaying goods in the corridor will be considered to be street vending, and the local authority will actually go in and sweep without any hesitation or remorse, because I think we have overspoken on this particular issue. We have spoken so many times, a number of warnings have been issued, and it's good that people are heeding to the warnings which were issued. But the few who are truant will face us head on, and I'm talking of people also selling alcohol at graveyards and things like that. They're actually hiding. So we don't need to be running away from one another. As government, the public, our partners, we need to work together because what we do is for the good of society. So there's no turning back on this.
Residents of John Howard compound in Chawama constituency have appealed to local authorities to unblock drainages in the area before the onset of the 2023-2024 rainy season. The residents are of the view that the blocked drainages will have a bad effect on the few roads that are still in good condition. They state that as much as they have the responsibility to ensure that no one litters garbage in drainages, the council must do periodic works to ensure that the drainages are not blocked. They have also raised concern that the stream where the floodwater needs to go is slowly being covered, as it has turned into a main dump site. Meanwhile, Area Ward 3 Councillor Ponsilio Piri says the local authority has embarked on a project that will see floodwaters being taken to Kafua Main Road. More in this report.
With only less than 5 months before the onset of the rain season, most drainages in John Howard compound Chawama constituency are still blocked by garbage. A check by Camnet TV found most drainages in a bad state, and some residents spoken to are of the view that the blocked drainage will have a bad effect on the few roads that are still in good condition. They claim that inasmuch as they have the responsibility to ensure that no one litters garbage in drainages, the council must do periodic works to ensure that drainages are not blocked.
Every week, kuna kujona wadio yanabakamba bakansera kuti manzi azamboenda mudamu awe ni boza yo because bidamu ifo ikirika bazamba liti kuti wambe kufugurura eja damu ero already mwani mwakambira boyo towards rain season so ni baboza ibyo bonse even mukayangana ma drainages yatu aya kuti wayayambe rero yafike mu rain season ya meni zona bizachitika already apa manje apa wa member of parliament benzo kamba ti CDF ndrama za CDF so babapasa manye ndrama zaniba za kuti wafugurure damu zizachoka kuti.
The residents have also noted that the dam that serves as a drainage for the area is being used as an illegal dump site under the watch of the local authorities.
Moving forward, tifuna mwani wanagambira wa member of parliament kuti ndrama sizi so babapasa ndrama zisebenze. Ikabofika rain season tuone kuti zona paliko ma changes hapo. Ndeba ntingafune chabe kuno kwatu kujiona hawati. Atitandize patingani ya damu kamba kuti manzi azamboenda kudamu ni boza damu kapena mwaendako muendeko muende mukopeko nokopa kuna kweve kudamu muwafunza kuti ndiye damu zona muzangira manzo.
Surprisingly, when asked what the authorities are doing, John Howard Ward 3 councillor Posilo Piri says plans are already underway to construct a drainage that will fit into the dam.
We have one drainage system actually that is starting from Kualala, a complex up to the rail crossing. It's going to have a drain plug in the dam, the popular Pachuca Dam. These are under the 2022 projects. Like I said, the one from the Kualala, I think we want to harness water which is coming from Bomora, so that houses in Jonah are not flooded. And that one is going to feed into the main drain which is along the rail line there. Whenever it rains, actually it's impossible, both for people and motorists. So I think under the 2022, we are working on that one. We have already identified the contractors.
But a check by this reporter to the dam found some waste pickers burning garbage at the site indiscriminately. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
The National Water Supply and Sanitation Council, NWASCO, has observed with concern that non-revenue water has remained a major problem affecting the water sector. Non-revenue water is water that is pumped and then lost or unaccounted for. Speaking with Camnet News, NWASCO Chief Inspector Mr. Peter Mtale says addressing non-revenue water is not a one-off undertaking but requires concerted efforts to address. Here's a report.
Non-revenue water refers to the water that is pumped and then lost or unaccounted for. The need to manage non-revenue water better and protect precious water resources has become increasingly important. Non-revenue water is a thorny issue that continues to undermine the viability of water utilities, and disputes between utilities and consumers have been tense, as sometimes people end up paying for the water they did not consume, while in most instances utilities are unable to account for the water illegally consumed by clients.
Go past this area to Zingalume Road along Twikatane grounds, and we have had a lot of problems with these waters here. Number one is bills go an exorbitant way, especially when they bring their bills here because of the same spillages.
Lusaka Water and Sanitation Company Public Relations and Marketing Manager Nshamba Muzungu tells Camnet News that non-revenue water remains a problem, but that they have put measures in place to help mitigate the problem, among them ensuring 100% metering coverage.
Non-revenue water has a serious impact on the operations of the utility, such as Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. This is because we are not able to get full value from the water that we are producing. We also have a program to install household meters to ensure that we have 100% metering. So in terms of the policy direction now for the utility, we are looking at having 100% metering of all the properties by 2024. And that program has already started in a number of areas in the city of Lusaka.
National Water Supply and Sanitation Council NWASCO Chief Inspector Peter Mtale says non-revenue water is a huge problem that cannot be sorted out overnight once and for all, but that there is a need for continuous concerted efforts among other players to address the problem.
And when you look at non-revenue water now, it has been increasing actually for the past 5 years. So it can, from there we can tell that actually it's a huge problem. Of course, there is also an issue of dedication, because this is not a one-off fight. We have to be fighting this non-revenue water through and through. So within the commercial utilities, we need to have a dedicated team that's looking at that. But also when you go to other stakeholders like customers and the public, if they find leakages, for instance, it's their responsibility to call a commercial utility, attend to those leakages. So it's a collective actually action. It's a collective action. The CEOs and the other stakeholders.
He is confident that the non-revenue water strategy that has been put in place will help combat the problem.
All the production points so that you know what you're producing. You also have to meet all the commercial points, that is all your customers, so that you know what you're selling. So that now you start looking at it. What is it that I've produced and what is it that I've sold? Then when you see that difference between what you have produced and what you have sold, then you start asking yourself, where is this going? So that you start breaking it down. So universal metering for us is key.
If Zambia is to achieve Sustainable Development Goal number 6, Target 1 of ensuring universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all, issues of non-revenue water must be addressed. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Opposition Patriotic Front, PF, has refuted assertions alleged by some sections of society that there is confusion in the party. In an interview with Camnet News, former Kabushi area member of parliament Bowman Lusambo says the party is standing in unity and senior members are standing together. Meanwhile, Mr. Lusambo says the PF party does not mind if former President Edgar Lungu wishes to take up the party's leadership because his wisdom is still needed. More in this report.
The former ruling party says the perceived disunity being created in the hope of crushing it is because its opponents are not happy that the Patriotic Front party still remains strong. The party has displaced ascension alleging that there is confusion in the Patriotic Front party, even though some have attributed the confusion based on some infights within the party following presidential aspirant Mao Sampa dragging some of the members to court. Former Kabushi area member of parliament Bowman Lusambo says the party is still standing in unity and senior members are standing together. He says no weapon or enemy formed against PF, including some alleged sponsored individuals, can succeed to create disunity in the former ruling party.
It's more like me coming to your house and claiming that there is confusion in your house when you are interacting very well with your husband. So for us, first and foremost, PF is a very strong party. PF has structures in all the 156 constituencies, and the people themselves, they have come to compare and contrast between the ruling government and the former ruling government. So we are drawing near to 2026, and you will hear a lot of accusation, you hear a lot of statements coming from different quarters of society, and politics is about the people, and it's not about individuals. Politics is about the people. So let the people talk.
Meanwhile, Mr. Lusambo says the PF party does not mind if former President Edgar Lungu wishes to take up the party's leadership because his wisdom is still needed.
He's a father, he's a parent. So we need his wisdom, we like his leadership style, and we want him to make sure that we put the party together, because he's the owner of the party, he's the president of the party. Even me, one day I would want to govern this country, and I would need wisdom from big people like Akande Ichilema president, like President Edgar Lungu. So for us as a party, we need him. We need him, whether as a president or as our father, to protect all of us.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Zambia Police Service has charged that it is not a pawn in the political arena, but a service to the country and citizens. In a statement made available to Camnet News, the Zambia Police Service Public Relations Unit has expressed concern on how some politicians, among them Socialist Party leader Fred Membe, want to drag the service into politics. The Service Public Relations Unit charges that the institution wants its salaries increased, but that not in a manner to suit desperate politicians who champion the cause of police brutality through their gnashing teeth. The Zambia Police Service says Dr. Membe is playing a careless game, tiptoeing around servicemen's playing grounds and enticing them with candy. It adds that it was not born yesterday to fall for schoolboy lies befitting only children, adding that enticing the police with pay rise to win them over is alarming. It has urged Dr. Membe to fight his own political battles with his party cadres without involving the police. Meanwhile, social scientist Innocent Kolala has charged that police reforms are vital in restoring the lost public confidence. Mr. Kolala is disappointed that in recent months, police have been implicated in a lot of criminal activities, a situation he says undermines public confidence. He says there is no way people who have the responsibility to protect lives and property can be in the forefront committing the same crimes.
The Zambia police has been a subject to public debates, with issues bordering on eroding professionalism coming to the picture. There is no doubt that the police comprises of credible men and women in uniform working hard to uphold the credibility of the service, but there are also those who are not fit to be in the system, who have been damaging the reputation of the institution, and there has been overwhelming evidence to prove that recklessness and alcohol abuse are among the problems, and criminal activities have been rampant, with others arrested and sentenced, while others still frequenting the courts. And in March this year, the Zambia Police Service arrested 4 suspected criminals, among them a man believed to be a police officer, in connection with a robbery that occurred in Lusaka involving 3,400 kwacha. Also this year, in May 2023, police in Chisamba district arrested 4 suspected criminals, among them a police officer based at Charleston Police Station, for the offense of aggravated robbery. And this month, 9 men of Lusaka among them, and in July 2023, 9 men of Lusaka among them, police officers, were sentenced to life imprisonment after the Lusaka High Court found them guilty on aggravated robbery charges involving 1 million kwacha. Still in July, 4 police officers from the anti-robbery squad at Mufulira Central Police Station were arrested for killing a fellow officer. And just recently, the country was treated to a statement where the Inspector General of Police was quoted saying that the previous government recruited junkies in the service. But social scientist Innocent Kolala says there's a need for the country to undertake serious police reforms.
We are seeing now the people who are supposed to be protecting us, the people who are supposed to be protecting our properties, who are supposed to protecting our lives, are the ones whom we are hearing that they are the ones who are involved in aggravated robbery. And the courts, they are proving that. They are the ones we are seeing lying, of course, with a gun, which is the unprotected gun. They are the ones we are hearing, of course, even the police command complaining about some of those individuals who have been recruited, who have no heart, and who are not putting into consideration that field. Very, very unfortunate. If there is a time which Zambians we need the police to reform, it is now.
He says it is unfortunate that the people charged with the responsibility to maintain law and order are in the forefront, abrogating the law.
It is a matter of condition of service which are not good. Why can't the police command and the government look into it to ensure that, of course, they motivate our uniformed staff such that they start functioning in the manner they are supposed to function, as unlike this embarrassment which the Zambian people have started seeing, and the fears which the Zambian people have started now feeling, because this time around now, people have started fearing even meeting the police officer, because we might not know who this uniformed staff we are meeting. Is this staff going to protect you or is going to harm you?
And this brings us to a difficult question. by Ramsey Clark that needs deep introspection, suggesting that who will protect the public if the police violate the law? Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Climate change advocates have emphasized the need for the government to consider channeling part of the Constituency Development Fund's CDF to support community-based climate action investments activities. In an interview with Camnet News, Young Volunteers for Environment YVE Board Chairperson Professor Jacob Malungu says extending CDF in addressing causes of climate change such as deforestation and environmental waste in communities will significantly contribute to the government's efforts in mitigating it. Meanwhile, Climate Clock Zambia lead coordinator Akufuna Muyunda has noted the need to mobilize communities and advocate for climate action to avert any further risks towards unsustainable and imbalanced ecosystems. More in this report.
United Nations scientists have given their final warnings on how to save the planet from the climate crisis. In a major report, it says the world is miles off doing what it needs to do for a livable future. The climate crisis is unequivocally driven by humans. Almost half the global population live in areas which are highly vulnerable to climate change. Climate change advocates are calling on the government to channel part of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, to addressing challenges of climate change. Constituency Development Fund, CDF, has been seen as a promising example of a system that could facilitate the disbursement of international climate finance. CDF is a fund designed by the government to address community needs for sustainable development projects.
There's enough funds out there, for each constituency to be able to venture into green entrepreneurship. We are calling government through the Ministry of Local Government and the Rural Development to green the CDF. We want the CDF to be a green fund, of some sort, so that a development is done, taking into account issues regarding environmental protection.
Climate Clock Zambia lead coordinator Akufuna Muyunda says extending Constituency Development Fund in addressing causes of climate change, such as deforestation and environmental waste in communities, will significantly contribute to the government's effort in mitigating its impact.
We would like to ask government to consider a particular allocation to the fight against climate change within the guidelines of the Constitution Development Fund. Because if we were to demonstrate our commitment in tackling this crisis as a country, I think we shouldn't leave out aspects of the community being involved or being given an opportunity through a fund that can support them to build their own resiliency against climate change, their community resilience against climate change. And that's what we want to put on the table to ask government to consider that particular aspect.
Young Volunteers for Environment Board Chairperson Professor Jacob Malungu says the impacts are much worse than one can think. He says solutions are here and they are affordable, but politicians around the world need to act.
All the systems that are actually helpful in terms of sustainability of lives, like I said, air, water, and sanitation, they have been affected because of the injustice that we are exposing to the climate. And if we don't take action by approving certain legal provisions as a country, then we are having this emerges as a catastrophe or a crisis. With the burgeoning or increasing population numbers. For instance, in the next 20 years, Zambia is going to double its population from 20 to about 40 million. What this means is that we are going to have pressure on the already pressured environment. So we need to do an action. We need to take it. It's an emergency, so to say.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Patriotic Front Chilubi constituency member of Parliament Mulenga Fube has charged that the price of maize does not only affect meal meal prices, but also maize value-added products such as cornflakes and feed. The Food Reserve Agency FRA has pegged its maize purchasing price for the 2023 grain marketing season at 280 kwacha for a 50-kilogram bag of white maize. The high maize price has been among the attributes cited for the high price of meal meal, which is fetching as high as 250 kwacha per 25-kilogram bag of maize. And Mr. Fobe has cautioned the government against trivializing matters of national food security.
We have been making different suggestions to the executive of how they are supposed to tackle the question of meal. And I think let's not just talk about meal. Let us talk about maize as a raw material for which are, among other things, byproducts like stock feed, alcohol and many other factors come from. It means that maize being a base material for stock feed, for a lot of byproducts like sampa and many other, it means that every byproduct that is coming out of maize is going to be expensive because the floor price was set at 280 kwacha, and already before the maize has been bought, which is for the season of 2023 to 2024 season. It means that the price, just one indicator, which is meal, is already at 300 plus, meaning feed is going to go up. When feed goes up, it means chickens will go up. It also means fish, which also relies on maize as base material.
You're watching Camnet Television News. We'll take our first break. Join us for more news after the break.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, Chumi.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
Hello Zambia. Greetings to all soccer-loving Zambians. I am Dr. Stenkusi from the Czech Republic, and I will bring with me soccer agent Mr. Jakub Skibik and the coach Mr. Pavel Ondračka, both from the Czech Republic as well. The Football League in the Czech Republic is a qualitative and competitive league in the world. Knowing that there are a lot of highly talented footballers in Zambia, all of us will be visiting Zambia from the 2nd to 6th of August 2023 in partnership with Camnet Football Academy. Agent and coach will come to Lusaka, Zambia to look at promising young Zambian players. Chances are that hard-working players may get engagement in the Czech Republic and including other European leagues. We look forward to seeing you at the tournament, which will be organized by Pastor Moses Chiluba of Camnet television. See you soon.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Finance and National Planning Minister MUSOKOTWANE has told the press at a press conference that no errors were passed in the National Assembly, which unanimously approved the 11.3 billion kwacha supplementary budget. Dr. MUSOKOTWANE has clarified that the supplementary budget will not fund other CDF components such as grants and empowerment, but will support community-based projects. He says in 2022, 298 million kwacha was not utilized by constituencies, and the Treasury did not record the funds which have been channeled to community-based projects under CDF. The minister explained that government has merely added the carryover funds from the unutilized 2022 Constituency Development Fund of 298 million kwacha under the component of community-based projects. He says a total of 4.4 billion kwacha was allocated for CDF in the 2023 budget, which caters for three components of CDF, which are provision of free education, empowerment, and community projects. Dr. MUSOKOTWANE says 2.7 billion kwacha was allocated to community projects in 2023, which will now be supplemented with the unutilized 298 million kwacha.
It's 2.7 billion because what we are supplementing is not the entire CDF. We are only supplementing one component of the CDF, which is community projects. Therefore, we've extracted the amount that we have provided in 2023 of 2.7 billion out of the whole 4.4 billion. We are only extracting out the component of the community projects, which is 2.7 billion, because we are extracting this out only because this is the one that we are supplementing. We are not supplementing that component of CDF called grants and empowerment. We are not supplementing that component of CDF called free education. We are only supplementing community projects. Therefore, in this schedule, we are showing not the total amount of CDF, but only that component of community projects, 2.7 billion. On top of that, we are putting 298 million, which came from last year. With this explanation, the members of parliament understood. Those who said they were in error, they realized that in fact it's them who did not understand how this schedule was constructed. They accepted the explanation, and therefore the matter was conclusively cleared, accepted, and passed. Therefore, this social media story that is circulating alleging the errors, please balance it out with this explanation that we gave in the parliament. Then we realize that that media item circulating is therefore itself the one that is carrying error, because it did not understand the table that we are looking at.
Healing Word Ministries International Overseer Pastor Moses Chiluba has cautioned people against proclaiming false identity. He has since urged people to be humble and seek the glory of God. Giving sermon during the Sunday service, Pastor Chiluba says people pretend to be what they are not, a situation he says is unfortunate.
But in Zambia we have a problem. Very good English, but broke. Have you noticed that? Ngabala nde chisungu hapa wadino kuchawe na laana muli yango. Diana pokula nde chisungu mpeniko ya yango. I don't have. It's sungu bala posha. But they are broke fellas. This is why I'm saying some of you speak good English, you are broke. Stop. What's that movie we used to watch at Keeping Up with Appearances? You are moving with a handbag. nice handbag which you bought from Saraola. And the people think, Mulinda Lamomo, because they are full of tissues. And the other things. You see, stop putting up false appearances. Brother Lungu, this is why some people don't prosper, because they have no place for God. God resists the proud. He gives grace to the humble. Once you say, Jehovah, I am nothing, you know where I'm coming from. Jehovah, I need you. God will come through for you. But as long as you have this false identity, I want you to know that you are not going anywhere.
Clean Cities Initiative Chief Executive Officer Watts Mwila has disclosed that the organization will soon launch a project that will enable citizens receive a reward for reporting any illegality they come across. In an exclusive interview, Mr. Mwila says the project is aimed at encouraging citizens to have the zeal to report any illegal activities that they may witness, for example, littering. He has observed that most illegalities go unreported because the authorities are not everywhere and citizens do not see the reason to report.
The Cities Initiative will be launching what is known as Report for a Reward. So the initiative basically is looking at how can we encourage the community to report on the illegalities in their respective places. This is taken from the background that we've seen that most of the illegalities go unreported because I think the authorities are not everywhere. I can take of the council, the police, and so on and so forth. Like I've mentioned that the police are the most proactive because of the way they do their enforcement. But with the local authority, I think they are faced with many challenges. So what we do is that we want to launch this project so that we can encourage every individual to report on whatever they see that is not sitting well in their communities. Let me give an example. I'm driving and then I find a pole is bashed and I can see the car, but then I just take it as normal because after all it's not for me, it's for the authorities like the city council. So what we are doing is that we want to encourage you that when you capture the photo, you capture the video and the text, send, and then we'll be able to reward you because we know that then working in collaboration with different stakeholders such as the city council, ZEMA, on pollution.
We'll take our second and final break. Join us for more in international and sports news.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Hello Zambia. Greetings to all soccer-loving Zambians. I'm Dr. Stenpusi from the Czech Republic and I will bring with me soccer agent Mr. Jakub Skibik and the coach Mr. Pavel Ondračka, both from the Czech Republic as well. The Football League in the Czech Republic is a qualitative and competitive league in the world. Knowing that, there are a lot of highly talented footballers in Zambia. All of us will be visiting Zambia from the 2nd to 6th of August 2023 in partnership with Camnet Football Academy. Agent and coach will come to Lusaka, Zambia to look at promising young Zambian players. Chances are that hard-working players may get engagement in the Czech Republic and including other European leagues. We look forward to seeing you at the tournament, which will be organized by Pastor Moses Chiruba of Camnet Television. See you soon!
And now in international news, ECOWAS has issued an ultimatum to Niger amid popular show of defiance on the streets of the capital, Niamey. Meanwhile, Uganda takes tentative steps to recycle plastic waste as over half of all plastic waste ends up in open land, waterways, lakes and parks. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS issued on Sunday an ultimatum of 1 week to the military junta that took power in Niger earlier this week to return the country to constitutional normality. Thousands of supporters of the military junta responded by taking to the streets of the capital Niamey, waving Russian flags. I would like to say to the European Union, African Union and ECOWAS, please stay out of our business.
Please stay out of our business.
In a statement published after the emergency meeting held in Abuja, Nigeria, the regional bloc did not exclude the use of force. The objective of this meeting is to agree a plan of aggression against Niger through an imminent military intervention in Niamey in collaboration with African nations, not members of the organization, and certain Western countries. We remind ECOWAS once more of our firm determination to defend our country. The mutineers said they overthrew President Mohamed Bazoum because he wasn't able to secure the nation from growing jihadi violence. In Uganda, plastic pollution is a growing problem. Despite repeated plastic bans since 2009, there are no signs the use of this material is decreasing. According to the environmental authorities, over half of all plastic waste ends up in open land, waterways, lakes or parks. According to the founder of this plastic recycling company, Uganda needs to recycle more.
The problem is really too big that even the recycling rate in Uganda is only 1%. Like 1%. There are no solutions that can solve plastic. And yet we have a lot of companies that produce plastic, but we have few companies that recycle plastic or give plastic a second life.
Now women started their company to remove plastic waste from the environment. Her workers wash, dry and iron plastic bags before they're sewn into school bags. The school bags' labels read, "By owning me, you have helped in upcycling 15 plastic bags."
So after that, we then bring it to our first production center where we fuse the plastic to come up with a sustainable material like this one. So this is a material that we later cut and then come up with the bags, which bags we later such bags like this. So this is our school bag. It's waterproof, it's durable, it's sustainable, and it is locally handmade.
The company also manufactures learning materials such as letters, numbers, rulers and other resources for schools in rural Uganda.
When they go back to their homes, they say, "No, Mommy, Daddy, let us not throw everywhere these plastic things because they are really good. Look at the bag I'm having. It is so nice to the extent that they are going to spread the message to their parents not to litter everywhere the plastic."
According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, plastic waste is set to almost treble by 2060, with about half ending up in landfill or under a fifth recycled.
In our sports news tonight, the Zambia national women's soccer team is looking forward to ending the tournament on a high note as it faces Costa Rica in Monday's 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup final Group C match. Defeats in the opening two games against Japan and Spain have been left behind as the Copper Queens look to record their first ever win at the World Cup and end the tournament with pride. The match against the Central Americans will be played on Monday, 31st July at Waitako Stadium in Hamilton from 09 hours.
I've learned a lot looking at the games that we've played with these bigger teams. I've gained experience that I never had, so it has been well with me because World Cup is every player's dream to play at the World Cup, so I'm very happy and humbled, and I just have to continue. This should not be the end, and I still want to participate in more World Cups that are coming. This is a different level. That was U17, so in football has improved so much in as much as we just have to be ready. We don't know what might come up, so we just have to be ready for them and be equipped for the game. I think it means a lot to us because we've inspired a lot of young girls and boys back home, so it's something that a lot of young girls want to do what they love most when it comes to sport, so it's something that they are being motivated with. So at least we have to get a win tomorrow so that they should continue being inspired from us. We really appreciate as a team for the support that we've had, and we're just going into tomorrow's game with a positive mind of wanting to win the game and carry the maximum 3 points. That will be our big back to their support.
On that FIFA Women's World Cup note, we'll come to the end of our news tonight. Before we go to the headlines once again, a social scientist calls for police reforms. Finance Minister MUSOKOTWANE dispels claims that there were errors in the supplementary budget. Government relentless to end street vending. In international news, ECOWAS issues ultimatum to Niger amid popular show of defiance. And in sports news, Copper Queens aim to end group games on a high note. The Camnet verse of the day tonight is coming from MICAH 6 verse 8. Mankind, he has told you what is good and what it is the Lord requires of you, to act justly, to love faithfulness, and to walk humbly with your God. Thank you again for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.